Welcome to the Wind Up with Will. I'm your host, Will, here with another video. It's been about a week since I've done a video, and I wanted to do this video for a while now. Hope you can hear me okay. I have maybe a bit of a cold. I've been in the cold weather in Kentucky, where it started to warm up, and then went to a bachelor party down south in New Orleans, where it was nice and warm, and then I've come back up into the cold Kentucky, so I think I might have developed a little bit of a cold from that. So bear with me. I apologize if my voice is different, if I sound weird in the video, and hopefully the microphone picks me up okay. But today's video, I'm going to be talking about off-season MLB acquisitions. It's been a while since I've done an MLB video. I've wanted to get back into doing that, and especially since baseball is my favorite sport, and the season is not far away. It will start within the next month. Got spring training going. I want to give somewhat of a recap of off-season moves. Back at the very end, in October 31st, the Braves traded outfielder Jorge Soler to the Angels for right-hander Griffin Canning. The Royals signed Michael Wacha to a 3-year deal worth $51 million. Includes a club option for a 4th year. The Angels went and signed veteran Kyle Hendricks to a 1-year deal worth $2.5 million. Austin Hedges, the catcher for the Guardians, is returning to Cleveland on a 1-year contract. The Los Angeles Angels also signed Travis d'Arnaud. They're a team that just seems to love signing veteran players rather than trying to make a splash on a young player. I really think they should have been a team that maybe should have pursued an Alex Bregman or something, but that's a topic for another time. Eventually I will get to an MLB season prediction video, and I will also do a video to recap my predictions from last year and how correct I was, or how off I was on some of them. The Red Sox add left-hander Justin Wilson. The Angels signed infielder Kevin Newman. Nick Martinez accepted $21.05 million qualifying offer from the Reds to stay with the Reds. The Mets back in November acquired Jose Siri, a center fielder from the Tampa Bay Rays, for reliever Eric Orzi. I'm going to try and go over more of the bigger ones instead of just listing them all off, because this is MLB free agency tracker, and the last time this was updated was in February. We're on March the 4th now, so I think there's been a few acquisitions since then. The Royals and Reds made a trade. The Royals traded right-hander pitcher Brady Singer to the Reds for infielder Jonathan India and outfielder Joey Weimer. It's a good pickup for the Reds, adds to their pitching staff. Hunter Green, I think, is going to be a great pitcher. Adding Brady Singer in there, that's a good addition for them. And the Royals get Jonathan India, a pretty good young player that is going to strengthen their infield. The Angels added left-handed starter Yusei Kikuchi, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, to a 3-year, $63 million deal. He's been a pretty solid pitcher in the majors since he broke in, and I've had him in fantasy the last couple of years. He's a decent pitcher, and that's going to help the Angels' starting rotation there. The Dodgers went out and signed left-handed pitcher Blake Snell. He's agreement on a 5-year, $182 million contract after pitching with the Giants for a year last year. The Dodgers just continuously get better. The Mets added right-hander Frankie Montas on a 2-year, $34 million contract. Adds to the Mets rotation, we lost Luis Severino to the Athletics, and I'm sure that's going to come up here in a second it's literally just a little bit down. Right-hander Luis Severino signed with Athletics on a 3-year, $67 million contract, and Montas signed a 2-year, $34 million contract with the Mets. It was a good find for the Athletics to go out and get Severino. I wanted the Mets to bring him back, but Frankie Montas is a doable pitcher. Good ad for the Mets to replace Severino. I would have preferred to have him back, and a very good ad by the Athletics to go out and get Severino. The Cubs signed pitcher Matthew Boyd to a 2-year deal worth $29 million. The Red Sox went in and added Aroldis Chapman to their bullpen on a 1-year, $10.75 million contract. And he seems to have reinvented himself a little bit the last couple of years, where he's maybe not necessarily a closer, but he's still a solid relief pitcher. The Rays went and got catcher Danny Jansen to a 1-year, $8.5 million deal. Mets signed right-handed pitcher Clay Holmes to a 3-year, $38 million contract with an opt-out after the second year. He's a decent pitcher, but I think he's likely to be competing for that fourth or fifth spot in the starting rotation for the Mets. The Orioles went and got Tyler O'Neill on a 3-year, $49.5 million contract and replacing Anthony Santander after he went to the Blue Jays. I think that one's going to come up here in a second. Let's see, where did that go? I guess on this article he hadn't signed yet, but he was a free agent. The Giants got Willy Adames, former shortstop for the Brewers. Terrific for them. Giants get him on a 7-year, $182 million contract. That's a big player to go out and get from them. I think his power numbers will go down a little bit playing in Oracle Park, just how big it is. So he's maybe not hit the home runs as much, but I think he should get a lot of doubles and triples there with how big the park is. He's a great hitter. He's phenomenal. He's a great hitter, and the Giants got a good player in him. I think it's going to be curious. He'll probably split sometime at shortstop, sometime at DH. Especially long term, he'll probably end up being a DH, but he'll spend some time at shortstop. Michael Conforto, former Met, signs with the Dodgers on a $17 million, on a 1-year, $17 million deal. He's a really good, like if you're having a backup outfielder or a platoon, like a platoon outfielder, or like he was playing for San Francisco for a bit there. That's a good add for the Dodgers to add depth. But it's just insane that they have that level of talent where Conforto's maybe not going to play that much, but he's a guy that's capable of hitting 25 home runs easily in a season. Of course, the big deal that came on December 8th, going down the list of these from back when the postseason ended to up to today, the Mets signed Juan Soto for an MLB record $765 million deal, stealing him away from the Yankees, who were not able to re-sign him. They got him on a 15-year, $765 million contract. It is the largest in baseball history. And it's literally just a few years. I think it was like a couple years longer. And maybe it was a few years longer and worth slightly more money than what the Yankees were offering him. That's why he signed with the Mets. I have mixed feelings on this. Sorry, I'm kind of leaning forward. I have kind of mixed feelings on this because I've always said for years that I thought Juan Soto was an overrated player, that people acted like he was far better than he actually was. He is still a very good player, and he's very cocky, which that is not really my style. But if you can add that kind of player that is that good and was a huge boost to the Yankees offense this past season, maybe that's enough for the Mets to compete with the Dodgers and the NL. And it makes their lineup extremely dangerous. And at the time, I was still hoping we can re-sign Pete Alonso to just make that a formidable lineup with Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Pete Alonso. That's a tough lineup at the top. I think he's going to be fine. I think towards the end of that contract, it's not going to look as good, and he will probably be a full-time DH at that point. If not, maybe playing some first base, maybe Pete Alonso at that point, if he's still with the Mets, is moved to DH, and they're rotating who's at first, who's at DH. If both of them, if I assume that Soto's going to end his career with the Mets, Alonso hopefully will end his career with the Mets. I would like to see him be a lifelong Met. But that was the huge deal in all of this, was the Mets signing Soto to that large of a contract. It was thought that they were going to be one of the high bidders on him, because the Mets didn't really make a splurge last year, and it kind of seemed like this is what they were going towards. Of we're gonna go into the Juan Soto sweepstakes. This is why we didn't spend as much money last year, is so we can focus on going out and getting a big player like him. So I'm excited. Like I said, I do have mixed feelings of like how good is he gonna be. Is by the end of by the end of the contract, is it going to look bad? And I still kind of have the feeling that he is somewhat overrated in terms of how some people view him, and it's a very large contract to give him for a guy that is maybe not the best defender and is maybe not the best base runner, but he is a phenomenal hitter. So we will see. Hopefully it ends out well. I'm excited. I think this makes the Mets a better team, at least in the short term, within the next 5 to 8 years or so. I think this makes the Mets a lot better in terms of their lineup. The Phillies added Jordan Romano on doesn't say how long the deal was or for how much. It just says the Phillies added him. He's a good relief pitcher. I've had him in fantasy the last couple of years. Toronto Blue Jays added right-hander Yimi Garcia on a 2-year, $15 million contract. Another big deal, Yankees landed Max Fried, from the free agent from the Braves, on a $218 million contract, 8 years long. That's a big signing for them. Adds to their starting pitching, gives them a clear number 2 behind Garrett Cole. If Fried can stay healthy, that is a very good player that they got there. They might have overpaid for him a little bit. That would be my concern, is just the years and how much money you're giving him, especially a guy who's struggled to stay healthy. But when he has been healthy, he's been a really good pitcher. And it's probably why the Yankees are second in betting odds right now for the World Series, even ahead of my Mets, is that they added to the pitching. But losing Juan Soto is a big blow to their offense. The Toronto Blue Jays had a trade with the Indians. They acquired 3-time Gold Glove winning second baseman Andres Gimenez, former Met, from the Cleveland Guardians. It does not say the details on that. Nathan Eovaldi re-signed with the Texas Rangers on a 3-year, $75 million contract. And that's going to keep good pitching with the Rangers. And if DeGrom can stay healthy, they're going to have some good pitching. They're going to have a good team again. Boston Red Sox are acquiring left-hander Garrett Crochet in a trade with the Chicago White Sox for 4 highly regarded prospects. The Yankees traded for Devin Williams in exchange. Closer Devin Williams from the Milwaukee Brewers in exchange for left-hander Nestor Cortez, infield prospect Caleb Durbin, and cash considerations. Another good add for the Yankees. Adds to their bullpen, gives them one of the best closers in the game. That is going to make their pitching staff better, and I understand part of the reason that they're doing this. Their offense, outside of Judge and Soto, was not necessarily great last year, so they're doubling down on pitching, make their pitching better, and maybe try and develop some young players or go get someone at the trade deadline. The Cubs and Astros had an interesting trade. The Chicago Cubs acquired Houston Astros outfielder Kyle Tucker in exchange for third baseman Isaac Paredes, pitcher Hayden Wesneski, and prospect Cam Smith. And then not long after that, the Cubs, they were going to have 2 good outfielders in Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger, but then they'd turn around and trade Cody Bellinger to the Yankees for right-handed reliever Cody Poteet. Gives the Yankees a little bit of offense. Last couple of years, Bellinger has been a good bounce-back player, but he is not the level of Juan Soto. But that does give a good hitting left-handed bat in their lineup that they very much need. Looking at some of the other ones. Outfielder Max Kepler and the Philadelphia Phillies are in agreement on a 1-year, $10 million deal. That's going to bolster their outfield, give them a little more depth there. Former Yankee Gio Urshela is in agreement with the Yankees on a major league contract. It's a platoon infielder. Red Sox add left-hander Patrick Sandoval. He's going to the Red Sox on a 2-year, $18.25 million contract. The Yankees traded catcher Jose Trevino to the Reds for right-hander Fernando Cruz and catcher Alex Jackson. So getting some prospects for a catcher. Reds are getting a decent catcher. The Houston Astros got free agent first baseman Christian Walker on a 3-year, $60 million contract. They're finally getting a good first baseman to replace what's his name? Blanking on his name. What was his name? Was it Yasmani? Yasmani Gurriel, I believe. No, Yuli Gurriel. I was close. I don't know how I came up with Yasmani. Yuli Gurriel. I don't know why. My apologies. I don't know why I said that. Yuli Gurriel. He was a very good first baseman for the Astros when they were competing and winning the World Series all the time. And they had Jose Abreu this past year, and it was just a disaster. He went from being a former MVP and perennial All-Star to being designated to the minor leagues last year with the Astros. He was not a good addition. Christian Walker has been an All-Star, or has played an All-Star level the last few years. I think he's made at least one All-Star appearance the last few years. But phenomenal first baseman hitting wise. The Mets were possibly looking and going and getting him if they couldn't get Pete Alonso to come back. Good addition for the Astros there at first base and gives them a good right-handed bat. Paul Goldschmidt, former MVP Paul Goldschmidt, is going to the New York Yankees on a one-year, $12.5 million deal. This is a good fit, I think, for him playing in a smaller ballpark where he can maybe boost his power numbers, finish his career, which is very much looking like a Hall of Fame career. And I think he just fits well with the Yankees. He's a veteran player. He has a lot of leadership qualities. He's not a flashy guy. He's just a class act. And I think him going to the Yankees is very fitting. And I hope to see him finish his career strong, but hopefully he does not play well against my Mets when the Mets and Yankees face each other. And the Cleveland Guardians traded first baseman Josh Naylor to the Diamondbacks on Saturday. So the Diamondbacks replace Christian Walker, get some help at first base there, and that they agreed on a one-year, $12 million contract. And then the Guardians agreed on a one-year, $12 million contract with free agent Carlos Santana, bringing him back for his third stint with the team. You don't see that very often. I remember Raul Ibanez had 3 stints with the Mariners when I was growing up. The Nationals got first baseman Nathaniel Lowe from the Texas Rangers in exchange for lefty reliever Robert Garcia. The Phillies bolster their rotation for getting Jesus Luzardo from the Miami Marlins for 2 prospects. Sean Manaea returns to the Mets on a 3-year, $75 million contract. Down the stretch and even into the postseason, he clearly became our ace. Once we got to the NLCS, I believe it was Game 6, he just looked aghast in that game. It's more than he'd pitched in quite a while. But his ability to stay healthy last year and hopefully his ability to stay healthy last year as well as going forward is going to play a big part in how good he is. If he can just stay healthy, I think he's going to be a good pitcher going forward. He was very good for the Mets last year, and I hope he's good for us again. This year, the Rangers added veteran Jock Peterson on a contract pending a physical, and this was back in December, so I'm sure this is past now. Right-hander Walker Buehler signed with the Boston Red Sox on a one-year, $21.05 million contract. The Red Sox making some moves, adding some pitching with Patrick Sandoval, Walker Buehler. And we're going to get to one of their other acquisitions here soon, and a little bit of controversy around that. Andrew McCutchen's returning to the Pirates. The Tigers got Gleyber Torres on a one-year, $15 million deal. Dodgers bring back Teoscar Hernandez on a 3-year, $66 million deal. Corbin Burns, big right-handed pitcher, going to the Arizona Diamondbacks on a 6-year, $210 million contract. This just makes the Diamondbacks, the Arizona Diamondbacks, that much more formidable of a team. They're a team to watch out for, not only in the West, but in the NL in general. They've got some good young players, some hitting. Corbin Carroll, I think, is likely to bounce back, and their pitching is going to be really good. I'm going to try and focus on the bigger ones. Nationals agreed with first baseman Josh Bell on a one-year, $6 million contract. The Dodgers got Korean star infielder Hoo-Sung Kim on a 3-year, $12.5 million deal. The Royals bring back Michael Lorenzen on a 1-year, $7 million deal. The Reds get Gavin Lux in a trade with the Dodgers. For prospects, Justin Verlander signed a 1-year, $15 million contract with the Giants, age 42. I believe he's the oldest player in baseball right now, and he's maybe got a chance to get to 300 wins. I hope he gets there. The Blue Jays signed good right-handed reliever Jeff Hoffman to a 3-year, $33 million deal. Jesse Winker returns to the Mets on a 1-year deal. The Japanese ace Roki Sasaki. I was hoping the Mets would be in on him, but we were not. Unfortunately, it just kind of seemed inevitable that he would sign with the Dodgers. Let me see if I can actually get how much this contract was, because he was a big name player. I'm not seeing how much it was. Where is how much he got paid? I'll have to look that up separately because it is not showing that. Bear with me. I don't know why it would not show me his contract there. He had a signing bonus of $6.5 million, and that's a signing bonus. What is his contract? I guess it's just for 6.5 million. Thought he got more money than that. Well, anyways, he was the star coveted pitcher out of Japan, very young guy. I think he's gonna be a good pitcher in MLB. The Dodgers also got left-hander Tanner Scott for a 4-year, $72 million deal to strengthen their bullpen. Blue Jays, as I said a while ago, they got Anthony Santander on a 5-year, $92.5 million contract. The Braves go out and get all-star outfielder Jerickson Profar on a 3-year, $42 million contract. Really good player, and he's really reinvented himself from when he was coming up to being the number one prospect in MLB to seeming to be a bust to now being an all-star caliber player. The Cubs acquired closer Ryan Presley from the Houston Astros. Right-handed reliever Kirby Yates and the Dodgers signed a contract. He's 1 year, $13 million. The Mets brought right-handed pitcher Ryan Stanek back on a 1-year deal. Infielder Hassan Kim signed with the Rays on a 2-year, $29 million deal. Reds traded for Taylor Rogers from the Giants. Max Scherzer signed a 1-year deal with the Toronto Blue Jays for $15.5 million. Jack Flaherty was signed to the Detroit Tigers on a 2-year, $35 million contract. Pete Alonso, my guy. This is the last. Well, actually, it's not the last one. There's one more after this one. But Pete Alonso on February 5th signed with the New York Mets on a 2-year deal worth $54 million. It's not what he was wanting. It's not necessarily what the fans want either. But that's where we are at the moment. Hopefully they can get a long-term deal done soon because I would love for him to be a lifelong Met. He's my favorite player currently on the Mets. But I'm very happy that he's coming back. It makes the Mets lineup very formidable. And I have one more player to go over in terms of their signing, because there is some controversy around it. Is Alex Bregman, the third baseman from the Houston Astros. He's on a 3-year, $120 million deal with the Red Sox. I think that's a lot of money to give him. I personally would not want to give him that amount of money. I just don't think that he's been worth it. He's not had those terrific of years outside of the years in which the Astros cheated or in the years in which he was playing with the juiced ball, which all of MLB was playing with it, but it gave him really good home run numbers. He's never really gotten back up to those kind of numbers in terms of home runs and batting average. I would just be very skeptic to give him that amount of money. But he is still a good player that is going to make their team better. Now, the controversy comes as he's signed to play, because he's a third baseman, third base. Well, the Red Sox already have a pretty good third baseman in Rafael Devers, who is a very good hitter, one of the most underrated players in the game, good left-handed hitter, throws right-handed, plays third base. And Devers has come out and said he only wants to play third base. He's not wanting to move to second base. He doesn't want to be a DH. He wants to play third base. So this is going to be some controversy around this. What happens here? Does Bregman be the one to move? Do they platoon him? Do they rotate who's maybe at second or DH and who's at third base? It's going to be very interesting to see how that comes out. I think I've gotten all of the big ones. If I have missed any, I deeply apologize. Let me know in the comments down below. This is my fault for not doing this regularly enough to talk about who's signed where when it was breaking news rather than a month or two later. But that's what I have for this video on MLB's free agent signings in the offseason, the trades. Those are at least the big ones, the ones that I think are important. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What trades would you like to see happen? Who did players that you like signed where you thought they were going to sign? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the video next time. Or I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.